Since we're done with Module 1, we can now proceed to Lesson 2, and the first topic that will be discussed is about the human development. Here are the learning objectives for the human development. The first one is to define human development and distinguish the different concepts and approaches of development. Second, describe the developmental tasks in each developmental stage. Third one is identify the different issues on human development. And lastly, make a simple research abstracts on researches about child and adolescent development. For you to easily understand what is human development, let us first differentiate growth from development. We have growth. It involves the increase in physical size of a whole or any of its parts, or an increase in number and size of cells. And also always remember that growth can be measured. The perfect example for this is our height and weight. While the development means a continuous, orderly series of conditions that leads to activities, new motives for activities, and patterns of behavior. It is the process of growth that brings progress and change. Development involves change, and it can be positive or negative. Unlike the growth, development cannot be measured. Like our skills in reading or writing, it both has a progress and change as we grow older. And that refers to development. Now we all know the difference between the growth and development. We can now define what is human development. It is the pattern of movement or change that begins at conception and continues through the lifespan. It is the growth or change that takes place between birth and maturity. Also, human development includes physical, social, psychological, and emotional development. It also defined as the process of enlarging people's freedom to improve their well-being. Now, in your own words, how can you define human development? Well, for me, human development is a lifespan development wherein the person changes physically, emotionally, socially, and psychologically as they grow older. As simple as that. Since you already know what's the meaning of human development, we are now moving forward to the four major principles of human development. The first principle says that development is relatively orderly. What does it mean? It simply means that it follows the same structure or pattern. It has two developmental patterns. The first one is proximodistal pattern and the cephalocaudal pattern. Before we talk about those patterns, let us first explain why it is relatively orderly. A normal person or human being learn to sit, crawl, walk before you can run. Wala kang makikitang mauunang mag-jogging kaysa tumayo. So that's what we call relatively orderly. The muscular control of the trunks and the arms comes earlier as compared to the hands and the fingers. And that refers to proximodistal pattern. If you can notice, class, una nating nakokontrol yung bigger muscles compared to small muscles. And how about the cephalocaudal pattern? The improvement in structure and function comes first in the head region, then in the trunk, and last in the leg region. The process of cephalocaudal direction is from head down to tail, sa paa. If you could notice during our elementary and high school discussion on how the baby develops in the womb of a mother, nauuna talaga nade-develop ang ulo, di ba? And that's what we call the cephalocaudal pattern. Now let's proceed to principle number 2, which says that while the pattern of development is likely to be similar, The outcomes of developmental processes and the rate of development are likely to vary among individuals. What does it mean? Even though we have similar pattern of development, there are also individual differences. Example, parehas kayong 6 years old nung kababata mo. Pero, ikaw mas matangkad ka kumpara sa kanya. Kahit parehas kayong 6 years old or maybe mas nauna kang marunong magbasa or magsulat kumpara sa kanya. That's what we call the individual differences. Individual differences can be expected in developmental characteristics when people will experience events that will influence their development. Example, yung isang bata, responsible. And yung isa naman ay spoiled brat. So, ibig sabihin, yung irresponsible na bata, maaaring maaga siyang nangulila sa magulang kaya natutunan niyang mamuhay mag-isa. And yung isa naman na spoiled brat ay naibibigay lahat ng pangangailangan niya. Kaya, experience or the environment can really affect our development. Now, for the principle number 3, it says that development takes place gradually. What gradually means? It simply means that it will not happen in just a snap of a finger. Halimbawa, pagkasilang ng bata, hindi mo pwedeng i-expect na kinabukasan marunong na siyang mag-crawl. And halimbawa, yung grade 1 naman, grade 1 lang, hindi natin pwedeng expect na matutunan niya agad ang mag-algebra, mag-solve ng algebra. And development happens slowly and it takes years. If may mga bagay tayong hindi pa nagagawa, we just need patience. If not now, maybe tomorrow or in another year. Again, it takes place gradually. It doesn't happen overnight, rather. For the last principle, development as a process is complex because it is a product of biological, cognitive, and social-emotional processes. It simply means that development is not simple. It is complicated because it involves many processes. Let's talk about the biological processes. It is the changes in the individual's physical nature. You can see it concretely and may mga changes sa weight, height, sa parts of the body, especially in the puberty period. The next process is the cognitive process. It involves our intellect. What we knew when we're still in elementary is already different from now that we are in this level. After many years, we already learn and unlearn a lot of things, and that affects the development of our mind. And lastly, the social-emotional processes. This includes changes in the individual's relationship with other people, changes in emotions, and changes in personality. As we grow older and as years pass by, we became more mature in handling our relationships because there's already a deep emotions or feelings involved. Also, we became mature in handling our emotions. Hindi na tayo bata na nagtatantrums kapag hindi nabigay yung gusto natin. So, yun lang po para sa social-emotional processes. So that's all for the meaning and principles of human development. Thank you for listening.
A pleasant morning to everyone. I'm Bianca Isabel B. Ramos, and today we are going to discuss about the basic concepts and approaches to human development. But let us first have the basic concepts about human development. When we say developmental psychology, it is a study of physical, cognitive, behavioral, and social changes that occur throughout the course of human development. It is the study on how our physical body change, on how we acquire new skills and knowledge throughout the years, It is the study on how the changes in our behavior and the changes on how we socialize or interact. While in growth years, this is the period from infancy through adolescence. Now, let us move on with the two approaches to human development, which are traditional and lifespan. Traditional approach believes that individual shows extensive change from birth to adolescence, little or no change in adulthood, and decline in late old age, which is true because I believe that we all undergo change. While in lifespan approach, it believes that even in adulthood, developmental change takes place as it does during childhood, which is as well true because I believe that the only constant in this world, the universe rather, is change. And under lifespan approach, we have its characteristics. First is development is lifelong. Development is lifelong because development or change does not stop. We learn new things every day. Second is development is multidimensional. It is multidimensional because it consists of biological, cognitive, and socio-emotional dimensions. And we also have the development is contextual. It says there that development is contextual because human beings are changing beings in this changing world. Lastly, we have the development involves growth, maintenance, and regulations. That's all for my part. Thank you.